You now have an understanding of the microphones we might use in the theater or elsewhere in the entertainment world, and you know the basics of how they work. But not all sound or audio is performed live into a microphone. Sometimes we want to play back audio that was previously recorded, or we might want to record audio for use later. To accomplish this, you'll need an understanding of line-level devices. You might also call them playback and recording devices. Devices can either be analog or digital. They can be monaural, meaning one channel, or stereo, meaning two channels, or they could have more than two. Some devices you can record using a regular off-the-shelf device, like a cassette player. You can record on those too. Others, you may need a special device, like a CD recorder to record to a CD. The first one up, you won't see us using today, but the record player, or the phonograph, was really popular. Today, they're seen as retro, but not very long ago, this was the best audio quality most people could afford in their home. The technology of this modern player is not all that different than the one Thomas Edison invented in 1877. If you look closely, you'll see waves cut into the grooves of the record. Those represent the sound waves. A stylus, like this one, reads the grooves as the disc spins, and the circuitry uses that information to produce audio. There was a time when this was the method for playing back music and sound effects in the theater. Record player / phonograph. Analog, stereo audio. Quality ranges from poor to very good. Not random access or instant access. Reel-to-reel or open reel audio tape. Another old-fashioned method is the reel-to-reel tape system. What you see here is our reel-to-reel, and it was the only method we had for recording and playback of audio when the building opened back in '85. Reel-to-reel was the first type of magnetic tape recording. To record, the tape passes by a magnetic head, which is causing a fluctuating magnetic field. The magnetically sensitive material on the tape aligns in a manner analogous to the sound waveforms. When playing back, the magnetic head will read the alignment of the sensitive material on the tape as it passes by. This device then outputs that as audio. For many years, this was the highest quality recording method available. An important note for use in the theater is that this method is considered random access. You could mark the sound effect you wanted to play on the tape itself, and then turn the reels by hand to line it up with the playhead. You could do this as many times as necessary and get time-precise playback. These machines are no longer manufactured, and finding blank tapes is becoming more difficult. Reel-to-reel. Analog, stereo audio. Quality ranges from terrible to excellent. Random access, but not instant access. Neither record players or reel-to-reels were exactly portable. To solve this problem, cassette tapes were invented. It's like a miniature reel-to-reel in a plastic case. It works basically the same way. What made this system important for the time was its portability and cost. The Sony Walkman let you take your music anywhere, and it was cheap. You could also record these at home on your stereo, or record CDs or records onto cassette tapes. This was important for us in the theater, as you could do simple, quick, and cheap recordings, and anyone could do them. The quality of cassette tapes, though, is not very good, and finding the right part of the tape to play wasn't easy. Cassette tapes are not random access, and you cannot manually turn them. The tapes also don't have timecode recorded onto them. Precise sound effect or music playback is difficult. However, this was the earliest method for anyone to do their own recordings, and therefore theaters used them frequently. We were using them on occasion as late as 2009. And if you've seen the movie, Star-Lord was using it in 2014. Cassette tape. Analog, stereo audio. Generally, the quality is poor. Not random or instant access. The previous three formats are all analog formats. Compact discs, or CDs, are a digital format. Instead of miniature magnetic waveforms that represent the sound waves, a CD has tiny pits read by a laser that mean either 1 or 0. This is what they look like at extreme close-up. The 1s and 0s are decoded by a CD player and an audio waveform is rendered out. The CD is what killed both the record and the cassette tape. They're cheap to manufacture and offer considerably better quality than cassette tape, and they're portable. However, recordable CDs weren't available at a reasonable price until the mid-1990s. But once they were, theaters could easily record their own CDs at much higher quality than a cassette tape. Today, anyone can make their own CDs, and it's something we do frequently. The best part about CDs for us is that they are almost instantly random access. You can jump to any track at any time. This is our CD recorder, the Tascam CD-RW901 Mark II. We use it to record band, orchestra, choir, and announcements. It can accept analog or digital audio, balanced or unbalanced. A CD can hold 80 minutes of audio, so a long concert may take 2. A CD has a sample rate of 44,100 hertz. That means for every second of audio, there are 44,100 snapshots or frames of audio. To cover the whole range of human hearing effectively, you need at least that many. Also, when you finish recording your CD, you need to finalize the disc. Finalizing will enable you to play back the CD in any CD player. So before we give the CD of the band concert to the band director, we need to finalize it. When you burn a CD in iTunes, it does this automatically. You could also use our CD recorder or iTunes to give tracks text labels, which will then show up on certain model CD players, including this one. Compact disc, digital stereo audio. The quality is excellent. Random and nearly instant access. Here's an increasingly rare format, but it thrived in both theater and broadcasting before CDRs became affordable. This is a mini disc, and this was a format Sony developed and released in 1992. You wouldn't buy music at the store on this format, but you could record them yourself and put whatever you wanted to on them. The tracks could be text labeled so it'd show up on the screen. They were also instantly random accessed like CDs, which made them perfect for sound effects in the theater or background music in a broadcast. Minidisc, digital stereo audio. Quality is very good. Random and nearly instant access. Another increasingly rare format, and again, you wouldn't buy music on this format at the store, but they were quite popular in the professional world in the 1990s. The digital audio tape, or DAT, has a very descriptive name. Digital audio on a magnetic tape, but at a higher quality than a CD as it has a sample rate of 48,000. It is random access, but not instant random access. It still has to fast forward and rewind. This was great for audiophiles in the 1990s. Unfortunately, the machines tend to break down due to their numerous moving parts. At the moment, we don't have a functional DAT machine, and they're no longer manufactured. Digital audio tape, or DAT. Digital stereo audio. Quality is excellent, better than CD. Random, but not instant access. Now for something more modern. Having high-quality audio playback and recording on your computer is still a relatively new phenomenon, and the release of Pro Tools in 1991 led the almost complete computerization of the recording industry. Anytime you play back audio from a device like a desktop, laptop, iPad, iPhone, iPod, or something similar, you're using a type of computer-based playback. This is the newest method and is quickly becoming the most common in theater and broadcast. For example, we use 2 Mac Mini computers at front of house with audio interface boxes that allow 12 channels of input and 12 channels of output. The other formats are generally limited to 2 channels, but with computers, you could have hundreds if you wanted. Also, a CD can only have 80 minutes of audio on it, while a computer could have years. Modern theatrical sound design has greatly benefited from computer-based playback. Some of our shows involve playing back the music off of someone's phone. However, I strongly suggest you turn off the cellular function before doing so. Getting a phone call would be bad, especially if you have a stupid ringtone. A common method of computer-based playback is a software for the Mac OS called QLab. QLab is a program that lets you have sound cues that play out of any audio output that's available on the computer. You can adjust the timing of those cues, edit the length of the cues, maybe add effects, pan them to different speakers, and then have it all in a simple cue list. All an operator has to do is hit the Go button. QLab will require a few things for use. An Apple Mac computer running OS 10.5.8 Leopard, or better. A Mac-compatible audio interface for audio in and out. For us, we'd want one with multiple balanced outputs. And the QLab software. It can do video cues on a video output, show control cues to send commands to the lightboard, or it can do timecode cues. Timecode cues are how we sync lighting to the music during Zenith. We will go into much greater detail on this later. Go Button is an iPad app written by the makers of QLab. It allows sound cue playback right off of an iPad. This allows portability, and it's very easy to control. It's much easier to use for precise playback than the normal music app on your iPad. We use this for shows in the Black Box Theater or for UIL one-act play. You can put the iPad into a special dock, which gives you high-quality, balanced output. Overall computer-based playback. Digital, and the number of channels is dependent on both the software and the hardware. Quality is dependent on the audio quality of the audio files. Could be poor, or it could be superb, way better than anything else on this list. It can have random access and instant access. Some shows may have audio played from a DVD player or even a Blu-ray player. All you need to know is that DVD and Blu-ray can have higher audio quality than CD, and they can either do 2-channel stereo or multi-channel surround. There are certainly other methods of playback and recording, but this gives you a fairly thorough rundown of the methods you might use. There are others, and there are certainly lots of types of software you can use.